Okay, let's talk about episode 3 of yesterday because we got a bit confusing last episode, but we're catching up. We're catching up. So, Calvin is still capturing Veer and he's doing his best to make Veer happy, treat him nicely. But remember, Veer is still handcuffed by the foot. He's still captured. He's still well, in this case, he's not in the dungeon. At this point, Calvin decided that to give Veer fresh air, make him go up surface to enjoy life, but still captured. And because of that, Veer he's not having it. He doesn't like this life. I mean, to him, the life that he thought he had was great. Not until today. But we must also remember when Veer was talking to his best friend slash lawyer, he did say he wants to crack him to the point that he wants to see Calvin's true colors. Now that he got it, he can't handle the rainbow colors at this point. Like, you got what you asked for, and now that it presented itself, you can't do anything. Now, here's the tricky part. Calvin's love is a lot hard. So when everything is starting to unfold and when Calvin is showing his vulnerable side, Fear doesn't even really care anymore. If he's hurt, he thinks that Calvin is just planning this to make him feel sorry for him. But what Bear doesn't know is that Calvin really does love hard. It's just that his love is a bit too much. Now, I think it's very important to tell you that in these dramas, or mostly in this episode, that you will see a little clip of past to Calvin. Now, in this particular part, Calvin is standing in the road where there's a car accident and he's holding his mother's locket. Now, I'm not sure if this is when the mother died in the car accident along with his car, but if so, it would mean either it was the day when he was a lot bigger to understand stuff or when he was younger, because I feel like it was when he's younger that his mother died. But if that's the case, why is he at this age in this moment? Well, I will tell you why. Because at this moment, Calvin was in the car with Veer heading to the business place or somewhere else, and he dozed off and got a bad dream. Again, I remember telling you that there's going to be a moment where Calvin is going to have a bit of a flashback in his memories. I don't understand why, but we all know that Calvin grew up very something because his parents, no, his father and brother don't really like him that much. At this point, we'll get to the father and brother because I am pissed with the brother and the father. Well, one thing's for sure. If I feel like Calvin is still working in the King's group. Remember, at this point, I don't think he left the family, but he is working with the King's group while secretly working with Veer to help him get back or get on his feet independently. Anyways, we see that Veer is very popular because people knows him a lot, and he knows how much he goes to Calvin. And Calvin secretary, which is this guy, he already knows that Veer is like close to Calvin. So here we are introducing ourselves. Actually, he's a new secretary. Either way, he knows him. Okay, guys, I'm sure you noticed that this office is not uncommon to us, right? This was in Mianthi, this was Kunti's office. But anyways, let's start business. So Veer and Calvin are talking, and Calvin notices that his business is going great. His hotel business is going great. It's just that he doesn't have any investment. He doesn't have anyone to spend like money on this to make it concrete. Then comes Veer. Veer decided to give Calvin a contract that he drafted up. Basically, he's going to invest in Calvin's business. Veer is going to take his own money to invest in Calvin's business. Calvin says he doesn't want Veer to waste his money like that because he's not sure if it's going to be concrete. Veer is like, he needs to trust him because Veer trusts Calvin. Calvin then takes out his own contract, signs it, basically giving him half the share of the business that he's opening up, which is shocking to Veer. But Veer did sign it because now they are full-fledged partners. Calvin then writes it and says that he will call the hotel V and V. I know V means Veer. I don't know what the other V means though. Saying that we watched episode 1 and episode 2 and we concluded how Calvin is crazy psycho, we can agree one thing, that this is where Veer messed up big time. Like, you signed a contract trusting this person, knowing full well, you don't even know who you trusting. That's the thing. Or maybe this is not where it starts. Maybe this is where it's coming to start up. Because honestly, you made this boy love you. Okay, we don't reach there yet. Let's not spoil it for now. Let's just go with the flow. Because honestly, should be step 1 to where Veer messed up. Okay, so Veer is with his best friend and lawyer. They're fishing, and Veer is explaining how good he sees the business going and how things are going great. The best friend / lawyer said that he hopes he's happy and how things are going great, but there's gonna be moments where he's just gonna pause off and go to his grandmother because his grandmother is very sick. This is where Veer didn't know about the grandmother being very sick. He knows that his grandmother is he's not feeling well, but not very sick. He knows that the guy only has his grandmother. So it's gonna be hectic if he lost his grandmother. So please, writers, do not write this grandmother out. If so, let him stay to the end of the drama. God damn. We can't bother right now. It's chaotic enough. Then we see Calvin. He went to the hotel to see how the hotel business is going with the building. But one of the workers went to Calvin saying that the business is going great, but the locals is the problem because they have to build the hotel a little bit bigger. And in order for that, he needs some of the locals to move their house so he can build the business. Anyways, it's not looking good because the locals don't want to go. While that is happening, Calvin looks at his social media, preferably Instagram, to see that Veer posted a picture of him and his best friend / lawyer. Remember, Calvin is easily jealous. So when he sees Veer so close to this person, he is getting jealous. Remember, Calvin only downloaded Instagram because Veer is the one that downloaded it for him. So Calvin can post stuff. But I don't think Calvin is posting anything. He's just using the Instagram to actually check on Veer. Now, because of the fact that Calvin sees how close Veer is, to be honest, Calvin hates the fact that Veer is close to anybody. He's jealous. He gets jealous easily. So the next day, Calvin makes sure that Veer is not going to be around anyone and actually tells Veer that they're going somewhere. Now, in Veer's head, he thinks that it's a date. But it's not a date. He actually went to the hotel project that Calvin is working on, which by right, Veer is not happy because he wanted to go on a date with Calvin. I mean, you invited him the next day and you said, "Are you free?" You thought, "Oh, I'm free to go on a date." Homeboy made every schedule free for that day. Turns out you're going to the hotel to look at hotel project. Basically, we just come from business only to go back to business. Now, while Calvin and Veer are admiring the structure of the hotel, here comes a local in the area. I don't know what concoction that person threw, but it has nothing to do with life-threatening. Now, here's the tricky thing. Not really tricky, but shocking, or maybe not shocking, because when the local was throwing whatever concoction that is, Calvin took the need to protect Veer because he doesn't want anything to happen to Veer. I'm like, dude, you become the protector? I thought you would be the protectee. But whatever. I digress. But anyways, so the worker was escorted out of the premises by the local was escorted out of the premises by the workers, and one of the worker that looked at Veer, because Kelvin decided that he wanted to take matters to his own hands and go to the locals or one of the locals to talk to them on the situation. The worker that was there was left alone. Talked to Veer and tell Veer that particular local has been a troublemaker throughout the whole process of this project, and the fact that Kelvin is working on getting actions. Yeah. So while Calvin is talking to one of the older locals, Calvin is telling those older local that he needs to move and go somewhere else because technically the property now belongs to him because he pays for it, and he needs that property to build further into this old project so he can have people to come to see what he has. The thing is, you technically cannot force a local out of their place. You have to get them to go willingly, because if they don't, then at this point, then you have to go by force, which is not good. I mean, yeah, you paid for it, but people are not willing to go. While he's talking to the locals, Calvin didn't realize that Veer was behind him. Veer then moved away just before Calvin noticed and went somewhere else. But while he went somewhere else, Calvin decided to make a phone call. Calvin turned off all his humanity at this point because right now he's talking to the demolishing people, the demolisher, what you call them? The people, construction people, to come to demolish the entire buildings that belongs to locals, because he is not playing. At this point I realized one thing. Calvin staying with his father and brother, he gets to learn to be very harsh. He definitely has no shame. He will definitely don't care about your living expenses or anything like that. So I ain't gonna lie you learn something. In business, I ain't gonna lie you, in business, it doesn't matter. You shouldn't be showing weakness to anybody, because once they see that weakness, they'll use that and get to do anything they want. Just take advantage of your weakness. This is real life here. Don't show weakness to anyone. But if you do show them weakness, if you're gonna get revenge out of this all, show them the reason they shouldn't take advantage of you. That's all I'm saying. But before they can demolish anything, Calvin found out through one of the workers that Veer is at the local spot that they're supposed to be destroying, and he's talking to one of the locals, specifically the one that splashed the concoction on Calvin. When Calvin got there, he literally witnessed something that he should have done, but in my opinion, that's what he should have done. So Veer is talking to the local, the specific guy that splashed the concoction on Calvin, and he's explaining that the way how they want to build this hotel is basically the locals will actually get profit as well, because once they build it and the tourist comes, then they themselves can sell or do whatever they want, because this specific local, he is good at hand making stuff, like making jewelries and stuff like that. And his artwork can literally get him a good amount of money and profit. So what he's doing is that they're going to build and actually give the local a little bit of space to make their own income, but also, a little space where they can express themselves to the tourist. Either way, this is a win-win situation. Now, even though this local does not agree, considering with what he's seeing, he needs to actually get concrete proof. So here comes Kelvin. Kelvin is explaining exactly pretty much the same what Veer is saying, and he says that he can make profit as well. So seeing this and seeing that the both of them said what they said, this particular locals is believing and decided that he's going to talk to the other locals. Okay, so while Kelvin and Veer are waiting, the guy went to talk to some of the locals, came back and said, you have a 50-50% chance. So 50% of the locals agree with this situation, but the others are not so convincing because they don't believe it. I mean, it's business people. They only say whatever they want just so they can get their way. Regardless of that, they did invite them to a outdoor camping dinner thing just to get to know them better, and if everything goes well, then they will change their minds. Okay, so they're enjoying themselves, having fun, dancing. I don't know what dancing that was, but they were dancing. And the very same man came to them saying that it seems everyone seems to be okay with it, but also informs them that the reason people were against everything and the fact that how he acted was because he got information from someone saying that the business will pretty much ruin the locals, and the fact that Kelvin's idea and everything would pretty much ruin everything for them. But when he explained that, Calvin and Veer asked who was the one that said that. So the guy couldn't tell because I don't think the person even introduced himself, but he did say that the person that told him was like rich. You can tell the person was rich. He was driving like a fancy car and he looks nice. With that information, Vieira and Kelvin could conclude who said it, but they can't pinpoint it yet. They just know there's someone against the whole situation. Anyways, back to enjoying themselves. Kelvin got one shot of, I'm going to call it Ray and Nephew rum because that's how strong it's supposed to be. NSC strong. It's like a cork full. Anyways, he got drunk, and in the midst of drunkenness, he confessed to Veer how he loves Veer and how he's happy that Veer is in his life, and they kissed. Honestly, this is a calm before the storm type of relationship. And I ain't gonna lie, you might come for me for this one, but I am telling you honestly, I blame Veer because Veer is the one that led Kelvin on to loving him and to the point of craziness. I just feel like Veer is the one that teased Kelvin to this point. I mean, Kelvin was the one like, please don't tease me because I love hard, yada yada yada. I blame Veer. If you want to come at me, go ahead, but I blame Veer. So, again, Kelvin is drunk. Veer knows that Kelvin is drunk, and Veer took Kelvin to a room to rest. But into this whole thing, Veer is feeling a little bit horny and wants to have sex. When Kelvin got a little bit sober and noticed what's happening, he stopped Veer. Veer got a little bit upset and said that if they don't have sex or if you don't want to have sex with me, that's okay. I'm leaving and I'm going to find someone that will have sex with me. And I'm like, sir, what was the whole point? Like, why? I thought you guys were in a relationship, but obviously at this point they're not. I don't get Veer sometimes. You know, honestly, sometimes I feel it for Kelvin. Sometimes, emphasize on sometimes, because some of the things that Kelvin does makes me understand the reasons, but at the same time, he's crazy. After leaving Kelvin, Veer decided to go hit the bar and decided to drink a lot of the strong liquor. Upon drinking, this guy walked up to him. Apparently, this guy knows him, but Veer doesn't remember him. The guy said that Veer and him used to go to school together. Still, Veer doesn't remember, but the guy knows Veer. Anyways, upon talking, he's like, oh, I just came from this country and I'm gonna go back, but it's good to meet you, yada yada yada. So when the guy that was talking to Veer left or about to leave, when he passed Kelvin, Veer noticed Kelvin coming in, but Kelvin went to a different room, and Veer wanted to go and see what room he went to or what he's about to do in that room. Then got stopped by a guy bodyguard. The guy sees interest in Veer and decided to use his bodyguard to stop him, to approach him by saying that, hey, my boss likes you. See, the way that this boy approached him was off. Now, bear in mind, Veer is super drunk, but not drunk enough to not notice things. But his mouth was not filtered. The man's like, if you want drink, go get it yourself. Then the guy used his bodyguards to pin him down to say, okay, so I'm assuming you're a guy that like things rough, so let's roughly drink. And I'm like, dude, don't do it. He is definitely not the one. And when I say that, here comes jealous Calvin. First of all, let me tell you, Pete, you look damn sexy with this. The way you look, oh, child, if Veer does not get turned on by this, I don't know what will. So anyways, Calvin noticed the situation. Of course he's gonna defend his man. Homeboy got a pocket what? No. Sorry, a little pocket knife. Homeboy wasn't hesitating because he was about to start murder. Like, he saw red. He saw red. And the guy saw that this was not worth it. His life was not worth this. No, I was like, dude, you are ready to fling that ass on the wrong man. On the wrong man, especially with the man that he has. You were about to die for a whole nother reason. Homeboy was like, let Veer go. We don't need this. My life is too precious for this one. You know, these moves look sexy. It seems like, they're about to have sex, but no, they're not. Remember, Veer is super drunk. So Calvin wants to make sure that Veer gets into his room safely, because apparently they're staying in a separate room. So with Veer drunk himself, they can't get in without the key card. So that is what Calvin is doing. He's trying to search his pocket, left, right, back, center, just to find the key card. Finally found it though. When they got in, Calvin wanted to leave Veer alone, but Veer is like, why are you leaving me? Stay with me. I need your comfort. Stuff like that. Things got a little bit frisky, and to make sure that Calvin doesn't leave, Veer went on top. Yes, he went on top of this boy. And he looked him in the eyes and said, are you really going to leave me? Do you not love me? I thought you said you care about me. Why are you doing this to me? We could have had sex, but you don't want to have sex with me. Nothing. What is it? Calvin definitely resists on looking into this boy's eyes because he knows he will give in. But then he looked at him and said, yes, he does love him. But if we had sex, this is purely just a one-night stand thing, and that's not what he lived for. If he has sex with Veer right now, he wants it to be that they can do this as a couple. They are a long-lasting partner. That is what Calvin wants, but that's not what Veer wants. Seeing how serious Calvin is, Veer steps back and decided to acknowledge that he is drunk and he is not ready for this conversation. Okay, it's the next day, and I thought they would have talked about the drunken night, but no. Once we entered the building, it's business as usual. So they're talking about work life, and they're talking about what to do when it comes to this whole business and hotel, and what are the consequences and, disadvantage and advantage of the entire situation. And yes, I meant situation because remember, while this hotel is building, Calvin still has people who wants to make sure his hotel goes down under. And Veer thinks that he knows who is trying to sabotage Calvin's project. Now, we, the viewers, know that the only person who wants to sabotage Calvin is Ken, his brother. But we're not sure. It hasn't said that. Veer hasn't said the person's name. But we're just going to conclude it's Ken because Ken is the only person that doesn't like Calvin and the only person that will always sabotage him. Him and the father. Other from that, Calvin doesn't really have much of enemies. Meanwhile, Ken is at his office and his secretary came to give him news, but not the news that he wants to hear. See, the news that he hears is that the project that Ken is working on, the one that he wants to demolish, is actually thriving. See, the locals that he so-called paid off to destroy the old project for Calvin, Ken hears from his secretary that actually the locals are going with Kelvin and the whole project, which means everything is going down under because that is not what Ken wants. But stupid Ken still wants to make sure that things get worse for Kelvin. The secretary tries to advise Ken to not focus on this because they probably find out that Ken is the one that's destroying the project. But Ken is like, I don't care. Do everything means necessary to get rid of them. But the woman is trying to tell him, like, dude, why not just focus on your work? See, I'm just saying, dude is too busy focusing on destroying his brother that he himself don't even realize that his own work is being spoiled. Dude, focus on your business, because if you focus on someone else's business, your business itself will spoil. Now, because they haven't got a proper date since focusing on this business project, Veer decided that he wants to, recommend a date, which is this bed theater place to watch a movie. Let me tell you something. They are watching Akina, the one with Boom in it. I'm like, wait, how are they watching this and it hasn't even premiered yet? The pilot hasn't even come out. Hell, the trailer hasn't even come out. I know it's gonna be on WeTV, but damn. See, this is why Kelvin always holds back from having sex with Veer, because Veer is always teasing him. Okay, back to business. I ain't gonna lie, your business is going great. Everything is going on schedule. The design is going great. All that left is to do is to finish everything and actually have a grand opening. But as you can see, Ken is flipping out. Why? Because Ken noticed that Kelvin's business is doing extremely well. Kelvin is definitely has nothing to worry about. Ken is just stupid because Ken is literally in charge of a big ass company, yet he's worried about a company or a hotel that hasn't even opened yet. That's how you know it's going good, because also it's been all over the tabloid news saying that this hotel is going to be opening and it's doing great, and we see possible profits coming in. It's something good from this hotel. But you know what's stupid about Ken is that Ken isn't even focusing on his job, like what he's supposed to do. Like, sir, at this point, your father picked the wrong son. Looking back, Ken can't do shit. No, really, he can't do anything. Because if you remember in episode 1, Ken only asked Kelvin to do all his projects. So, in my opinion, Kelvin actually learned a lot of business while doing the projects that Ken was supposed to do. So you have to admit, Kelvin actually is smart in this one. Homeboy was learning while he was doing the things that Ken was supposed to do. So while they're admiring the beauty of the hotel and the view that it gives, Veer got a call from his best friend and lawyer saying he got into an accident in his bathroom and now he's at the hospital and needs help to bring him home, or at least need his help overall. So they went to the hospital, and of course, Veer noticed the mood change in Kelvin, because remember, Kelvin gets easily jealous whenever Veer is around pretty much anyone, and this best friend is no exception. So Veer took his friend to introduce him to Kelvin, even though they've met before, but not official to know, like, introductions. Even though you can see it in Kelvin's face, like he doesn't even want to be introduced to this person. But he did play it off because he is a friend of Kelvin and he doesn't want Kelvin to see his side of jealousy, if that makes sense. So all three of them went to Veer's place. But when they got there, Kelvin went on his computer. But in Veer's mind, Veer's like, look at him. He's doing work, hard at work. But what Veer doesn't know is, technically, Kelvin is not doing work. He's just trying to distract himself from getting too jealous when he sees Veer closing up buddy with his best friend. But this distraction is not working for Kelvin. So Kelvin looked and see that they're too close. So Kelvin is like, dude, to Veer's best friends and lawyer, he's like, when are you going home? I thought you were just gonna just go home. There, the friend is like, dude, I just live near. I didn't really mean that I'm going home. I'm just staying here for a while. So that little int that Kelvin was trying to give homeboy did not grasp it. So to make Veer stay away from the best friend, Kelvin called Veer over to look at some document that he said the money is not adding up. So this is what's happening. Even though the amount is adding up, it's just a distraction to let Veer stay away from his best friend. Remember, homeboy is easily jealous. Jealous people, especially psycho jealous people, is somebody you want to stay away from. Pete is the one that said his character is a black flag. Anyways, while they're looking at the problems that Kelvin says there is on the computer, Kelvin was not even focusing on the one thing that he told Veer to look at. He was so busy looking at Veer. Veer noticed and Veer's like, don't look too long. Please just focus because it's gonna be a problem. And everything got sexy because here comes Kelvin saying like, okay, are you gonna what was it? It wasn't a punishment. It was something else. Give me something for attendance. I don't remember, and I'm not going back. He asked for punishment though, and the way Veer was this close to kissing him, he didn't even realize. Well, sorry. The friend in the background is like, dude, did you forgot I'm here? Kevin's like, I know you're here, and I don't care. But if you don't want to see what's gonna happen, I advise you to leave. And I'm like, damn, savage. I'm glad that Veer kind of sensed the situation because his friend was not even sensing the left or right situation. Now, at first, the friend did leave, but then came back knocking, and Kelvin opened the door and he's like, ta-da! You thought I left. I only went out for the food. And I'm like, dude, really? Kelvin just took the food and pushed homeboy out of the door. And I'm like, I'm with Kelvin with this one. Things were about to happen and I'm here to see it. And you are not here to see that. So move on, sir. Move on. You're a big boy. If anything serious happens, you can call. For now, you live literally right there. Now, after Kelvin pushed homeboy's friend out the door, the way how Kelvin put that food down and man-angled Veer and kissed him, it was epic. Epic. Then after that kiss, Kelvin looked at Veer and like, do you like me? Veer is like, yes, I do like you. And then Kelvin looked at him, like really looked at Veer and is like, then if you really like me and if we're gonna do this as a real couple and as everything known to man, let me tell you one thing. When I love hard. So if we're gonna be in this relationship, I don't want you be out here teasing me or out here trying to flirt with anybody in front of me or behind my back. If we're gonna be in this relationship, be in this relationship with only me. The way he said it, I'm like, God, that was hot. It was creepy but hot. But looking at it red flag wise, it should have been a red flag for Veer. But hey, we're too caught up in the moment at this point. We didn't notice nothing. Hell, we colorblind. Now after that little freaky moment, then comes Veer with a present. In that present, they see matching pajamas. Apparently, Kelvin got a pajama, and Kelvin was told that Veer also has a matching pajama towards that one. And then there's another part of the present. It was freaky because it's like a body belt thing that you'll see in SMS type of thing. What you call it? BDSM type of thing. Those freaky type of thing. And the way how Kelvin took it up, I'm like, does this come with the pajama set? And I'm like, damn, sir. Now I see why Kelvin did the shit that he does to you. Because all the things that you did to him, he just enhanced it for you in the future. The whole, I love you, and then you handcuff this boy because you done told this boy you like things rough. And now whatever you say towards him, he won't believe you because, hello, you've been dealing with things with him rough throughout the whole time that you guys been together. He won't even believe you anymore. At this point, I need to know how many years you've been together with this boy, because the time is not adding up in the drama. I feel like it's a lot for you to be ready to escape from this boy. And the fact that you've been tied up in a dungeon, nah. It's more than a year for me. It's more than a year. And we finally get to see Lisa girl. I'm going to call her Lisa. I'll forever call her Lisa throughout the show because she looks like Lisa with that bang. Anyways, while she's coming out of her little car, she saw Veer. Veer's waiting for his man because Kelvin is packing to getting ready to leave, because remember, he has this hotel thing going on. I don't think Ken even realized the relationship that Veer and Kelvin has. He just knows that they're partners, but not like sexual partners. I mean, he could have sensed it. But anyways, remember, Kelvin is working for the Kings Group. He's been working there, but just secretly like doing his own thing. Now, while Kelvin is trying to leave, Ken came because he noticed that he is leaving. Ken decided to tell him, like, dude, are you really gonna leave? Remember, you can't be something and turn into a swan or whatever it is that metaphor is. And I'm like, sir, you acting like a swan when you're not even a goose. Hell, you can't even look pretty. The fact that you putting your brother down, knowing damn well you need his whole entire brain, because without him you're nothing. Hell, you're nothing right now. And here comes Lisa saying that, wow, what a way you're talking, as if you're so perfect because you're an idiot and you can't do anything business wise. And the way I can just keep calling this girl a bitch, and your own girl is just showing him that I ain't afraid of you. You do know that, right? I can punch you down within one look and blow, but hey, I'm too sophisticated for you right now. Ken sees the main reason Kelvin is eager to depart from this house, decided to call one of his minions to ruin the grand opening of the hotel, not knowing that his plan is about to fail. So it's the day of the grand opening, and everyone noticed that no one is showing up. Then comes Ken, proudly boasting about the fact that there's no one supporting Kelvin's work or his grand opening, but not knowing that Kelvin and the others already knew just by the boast. Before he even boasted, they knew Ken had everything to do with it, which is why they made the plan a little bit different. See, the invitation tells a different story for Ken, but in actuality, the invitation time was a little bit delayed. They just planned it for Ken to show up and see right in front of him that he indeed is going to lose this whole competition. So anyways, everyone shows up and Veer is making a speech. And I love the speech. It was savage. He said he's glad that everyone that got invited got to see the grand opening and showed up. Meanwhile, also he's thanking the people that who didn't get invited also shows up. When he said that, he was looking at Ken because basically he's the only one that got didn't get invited to this whole entire thing. Now, after the big announcement and speech and popping champagne, the celebration has officially begin. And then while they're celebrating, Ken still standing there like a big old rock, not moving. So Veer's friend and lawyer went up to them and revealed that they already knew the whole plan of Ken sabotaging Kelvin's old production. They just wanted him to present himself to prove that he really is doing it. Because again, they know, but if with him showing up, clear evidence, and he fell right into the trap. Also, he did say the same thing that I'm saying. Stop worrying about other people's business and focus on your business. It's not even going great. Like, dude, worry about yourself. Okay, later on, after that big old announcement and celebration, Kelvin made a little bit of a surprise for Veer and showed Veer a room that he decorated. Basically, it's kind of like their first anniversary, which they haven't even been in a relationship fully yet, but yeah. Now, the way how he set it up is so cute. boom shiggy bang bang is gonna happen right there, right now, because let's be honest, it is fair. Veer just got so excited. He started kissing up on Calvin, rubbing his hands all over Calvin, but then he realized there's something strange underneath Calvin's outfit. As you notice, Homeboy went all out with the surprise. He wore that matching, I don't even know what that is, but trust me, Veer is loving it. Let me tell you something. Veer loves these type of things, and that is why he is where he is till now. Let me tell you something. With these two, the sex is sexing. I'm not going to actually give you in details. I'm going to let you go watch it yourself. On the other hand, I'm seeing Japanese actually doing their thing. Because I saw a clip of the Japanese version of Love Seat. Damn. The Japanese version of Love in the Air. Damn. The Japanese version of Boy Next World, which I need to see because they making these sex things look like babies. One thing I must say is that Pete's character is definitely magnetic to trauma, because tell me why Homeboy is having a huge nightmare of how Ken is actually mistreating him, and he was doing it all loud, waking up poor Veer, and Veer is here comforting him. Let me tell you something. Pete's character is always a traumatic character, unless they can tell me otherwise, and Fort's character is always that one to comfort Pete's character. It's cute. But in this case, I mean, the character has been through way more than his previous characters. Then again, I've seen Love in the Year. The boy has been cigarette burned and, so we're just going to say they're in the same tier. Like top tier, they're in the same tier. Okay, I don't remember which episode, whether it's episode 1 or episode 2, but remember when Kelvin looked at Veer when he was in the dungeon, the time when he figured that he was handcuffed, and he looked at him and he said, we finally get to wear a matching pajama again. I believe this is why he said that, because when they were together in this part, you see that they're wearing a matching pajamas. So I see where he gets it from. It's totally making sense little by little. Okay, we got to see the father. It's been a while. I don't know what you were up to. But anyways, Kenan is telling his father about Kelvin's project. And the father is definitely looking into Kelvin's project. And he's telling his father that he's going to find any means necessary to break down Kelvin's project. But while he's talking, the father is noticing that Kelvin's project is looking good. As a business perspective, you can see that this boy is doing great. And that's when I thought that, dude, you definitely saved the wrong boy. You should have kept Kelvin under your wings. Homeboy could have made your business way better. But anyways, the father looked at Ken and definitely opened this boy's head. Open his boy's eyes. And he said, it looks very bad for a big top business doing all its power trying to demolish a small business. In other words, it really does look bad. In other words, what he's saying is that it would look very bad, because why would a big business like King Group try so hard to get down to the VNV level, and they're not even fully big yet, which means if the public finds out about this, they can see how well that VNV hotel is doing, considering a big company like King Group is trying so hard to make sure it goes down. That's not looking good for you, Ken. You're not doing as a business person if you're trying so hard to demolish your brother's stuff. Anyways, Ken and his father went to an event that Veer's father is hosting. And just by looking at Veer's father, you can tell that Ken and his father's presence are not welcome for him. But they don't notice that. They keep talking and introducing him to another, like a business person that they're doing business with, and wish that he could have done business with them. Then Ken opened his mouth talking about they have this rumored about them doing this technology shit and how things would work out great if they joined. And the father of Veer was like, yeah, but some people might not can afford it and stuff like that. Homeboy is like, well, once you have the money, you can buy it. Nobody, it basically said it doesn't matter what everybody can afford as long as the rich can afford it. And immediately, Ken's father's like, shut the hell up, boy, shut up. The tension was looking very frisky, so the father moved. That and Veer saw him, and Veer was like, Dad, talking you to the other direction because he's not going over right where Ken is to talk to him. And the father knows. So he excused himself while the other woman that is supposed to do business with the King's group excused themselves too. Anyways, as they leave, the father looked at Ken and said to him strictly, not everything has to do with money. You can't solve everything with money. As a business person, you have to be able to know how to talk to people, negotiate with people. And the way how Ken is like, okay, it's my fault. I spoke all out of term. I should have understood in my head. I'm like, dude, you are so focused on putting your brother down that you don't even know nothing about business. But here you are. The father put you in charge of a business that you don't even know how to run. I blame the father because he didn't even sit this boy down and let him know what business is like. Kelvin knows because Kelvin is the one been doing Ken's work. And that's where Ken failed in life. Okay, back to Veer and Kelvin. Veer introduced Kelvin to his father and told his father that Kelvin is his business partner and also his boyfriend. The father said that he heard so much about Kelvin through Veer, and also he saw the project going very well. Very well. But the thing about it is that the project, even he sees the disadvantage of this, but hey, the project is going well. That's all he can say. Also, he looked at Veer and said there is a business person that would love to introduce him to that could be interested in this project. Name is Mess, I believe. The person that plays it was Boom. Trust me, when I saw Boom, I was like, yes, baby, come here, boy. To be honest with you, I wasn't expecting Boom to show in the drama. I just thought maybe they would show his drama or movie. I'm not sure what it is, if it's a movie or a drama. The upcoming one that he has, Akina, I was just like, okay, let's show him because it's a part of WeTV. But to see Boom in this, I'm like, okay, we're getting back to our acting era. That is it. And please, for the people who love the acting, please just love him. Just stop bringing up Smart Boom. They all have individuality here. That makes sense? They all have a life. They're doing their jobs. God damn. Anyways, the father left them to talk, and I believe his name is Mess, told them that he loves the project and how things are going for him. And he also see the interest of why it's going for him, but that's beside the point. He said that the contract that he presented them, he and his team will look into it, and if he sees anything that he really do like, he might be interested to sign. Then comes Ken, because Ken doesn't like when Kelvin thrives. Anyways, Ken brought Mess to the corner and talked about, I thought we agreed that you're gonna sign with the King's group. And Mess looked at Ken and is like, I never said I agreed. I said I might look into it. Then it's as if that Ken's father's word did not really reach his brain. It just went through one ears, make a rainbow to the brain, and out the other ears. Because here this boy is like, I will double the pay for you to sign for me. And Mess is like, are you sure? Can you do that? And Ken is smiling like, yeah, I can do that. I own King's group. I can do this. And Mess is like, well, I charge way more than what you think the contract is saying. And he's like, I can get it done. And they shook on it. Damn idiot. Meanwhile, Kelvin and Veer are somewhere else talking. Oh, I think it's important to say that the place that they host the event is like the family place. So where Veer is, they are in a bar that Veer said he never invited anyone there before, and Kelvin is the first. Anyways, they're talking, and he said he believes that Veer said he believes that the person that Ken wants to negotiate, because remember, Ken wants to sabotage Kelvin. See, the thing about Ken is he's not knowledgeable about the finance of the business that he has. See, the financial part of King Group is that they don't have enough money to even want to do what the hell that he wants. Remember, Ken says he wants to double the amount to get Mess to work and do a contract with him. They don't have that much money. And even Veer knows that. So he has nothing to worry about because Ken can't pay Mess. Now, when Ken's father found out about the contract signed and the amount that Ken promised Mess, he is furious because not only did Ken's father left the boy in charge, but he didn't even know anything about the finance itself. Even the father is trying to say, dude, if you pay Mess the amount that you said you're gonna pay, the business will crumble. The thing about business is the thing is, once you take out money, you need to actually be aware that whatever you take out, you actually must have the not really amount, but have enough in the account, in the business itself. People are gonna wonder, wait, if he doesn't have enough money, where is he getting all this money from? Then we see Nana at Lalin's, but we're going to call her Lisa because she looks like Lisa. Shows up. We're in the present day. Remember, what we were talking about and what we're seeing was in the past where Veer and Kelvin were good in a relationship. But we're in the present where Kelvin and Veer are not good because Kelvin is being possessive and controlling. Makes me wonder whose story we're telling here, because if we're seeing all of that, I want to know, where is Ken now? And seeing how Kelvin is acting so superior, meaning he got back his company that he said he wants to claim. And if so, what happened to the father and the brother? That's what I want to know in this whole scenario. Anyways, Nana is here because remember, she got the job to be the bodyguard of Lalin or Lilian, or we're going to call her Lisa. I have a feeling that Nana is going to be more than just a bodyguard. She's going to be an all-in-one person because she's the only person that Lisa hired. Also, if you guys haven't noticed, this is the very place that we saw in My Magic Prophecy for Jimmy's character's house. Now, if you guys don't know, when it comes to entertainment industry, when it comes to filming, they will always, or at least in Thailand, they will use the same house. The only difference is you have to know it's the same house, but they have a different camera angle because not all of them is going to show the entire house. You're just going to leave some part of it for some people who want to use the house. All I want to know is how much do they pay to rent this place, because obviously it's got to be rented. Meanwhile, Lisa is taking her shower. This one is definitely jotting down voice notes on the things that she observed about Lisa. One thing for sure is I love how she can handle and protect herself. Ever since what happened when she met Veer, she learned how to defend herself. And that one specific defense system actually got her a job. Hey, look at it. It's not exactly the job that she was looking for when she wanted to go to Bangkok, but hey, she got a job and it pays well, let me tell you. Now, the thing about Nana is I feel like she have a whole new alter ego or some plan, because why is she in this woman's house searching her computer like she's searching for someone? Or is it that she's trying to see if she can know if Lisa knows where Veer is? Anyways, she almost got caught, but it turned out to be the dog for the owner. I feel like the owner kind of seen this, even though the camera is showing otherwise. I feel like she just got caught, but Lisa is not going to show herself that she got caught. Either way, you need to keep this job, ma'am. So please don't be a snooper. Okay, so we're back here. I'm not sure this is when he kidnapped the boy by making him sleep. Either way, I think Kelvin realized that the little fresh air that he gave Veer was a little bit too free for him, and then we're going back down here. Still, I'm out to get you, Veer. You out here wasting food. I don't think Kelvin would be stupid or crazy enough to kill you, considering he loves you too much. But then again, we don't want to underestimate it, because I've seen crazy people being so crazy in love that they're like, if I can't have you, no one can type of people. So we're going to be going on to fasting, and it's the starvation of fasting. This is. Anyways, there was something I wanted to say. I just can't remember. All I'm saying is this is the first time I've ever made my recap and it went all the way to 50 something minutes. Damn. There's a lot of details in this one. So if you reach this far, thank you so much. You're helping a girl out here. Okay, I don't want it to go any further than this, so I'm just going to end this recap by saying I blame Veer for everything, because he's the one that led Kelvin on. He's the one that led Kelvin to love him. He's the one that literally pursued Kelvin. He literally meddled in Kelvin's life and be a part of his world. And because of that, you had sex with him too. And because of that, you can't leave. Now you make this boy love you to the point of no return, gets jealous, wants to be with you all the time. And you're the one that said, oh, you like wild sex, you like kinky stuff. And now that you got it in extense mode, like it intensify those things that you like, you want out? Hell no. I'm on Kelvin's side here. No matter how crazy he is. Unless if next week episode is going to be crazy, then we can say something. But for now, I blame Kelvin. I blame Veer, because Kelvin warned you, don't tease me, don't do this. He tries to let you go. But you did the opposite and now you're stuck. Boy, you reap what you sow. Also, remember, Veer, you're the one that told your friend/lawyer that the only reason you're teasing Kelvin is to see his true self, his true colors, because you don't believe that his innocence is actually... You don't believe that him acting innocent is his real self. Now that you got this, you can't even turn back. You don't even want it. That's your fault, my friend. You cashed, you got delivered, and now you don't want it anymore. Well, Shang Mang, frig you. You are screwed. I'm sorry to tell you this, but you asked and it was given.
Like Gemini said, if you fail, ช่างแม่ง
Yeah, in English, you fuck it. I use it a lot. Just ช่างแม่ง fuck it. It's a very good word for me.